Let's get right into it. Number 12. The bouncing ocean. Imagine standing at the edge of the sea watching the waves roll in. You've seen this your whole life. The tide goes up, the tide goes down. The water is, for the most part, doing what it's supposed to do. But what if I told you that the ocean is secretly bouncing? Not in a gentle, rhythmic way. More like a massive, planet-sized liquid trampoline that nobody notices. This is a real thing called a sesh, pronounced sesh, and it's basically a standing wave that sloshes back and forth in a body of water. It's caused by things like atmospheric pressure changes or strong winds pushing water to one side of an enclosed or semi-enclosed body of water, a bay, a lake, even a swimming pool. When the wind stops, the water isn't content to just sit there. Instead, it rushes back to equalize, overshoots the mark, and then rushes back again. This creates a slow, invisible oscillation that can last for hours or even days. It's like the world's biggest, most subtle bathtub ring, and it's happening all over the planet in places you'd never expect. Your local lake? It's probably sloshing around right now, and you can't even see it. Basically, the ocean is a perpetually confused toddler in a giant sandbox, and we all just pretend it's normal. Number 11. Exploding lakes. I know what you're thinking. My lake is beautiful, full of fish and happy families on paddle boats. Well, I'm here to ruin that for you. Deep below the tranquil surface of some lakes, especially volcanic ones, a dangerous secret is brewing. We're talking about limnic eruptions, which sounds like something out of a sci-fi B-movie, but it's terrifyingly real. Over time, CO2 gas seeps from the volcanic rock beneath the lake bed and accumulates at the bottom, trapped by the immense pressure of the water above it. It's like a giant pressurized soda bottle just sitting there. Everything's fine until something, maybe a landslide, an earthquake, or just a shift in the temperature, disturbs the delicate balance. That's when the soda bottle gets shaken. The lake suddenly becomes supersaturated, and the gas rapidly bubbles out of solution in a massive explosive cloud. This isn't just a few bubbles either. It's a sudden, violent release of a deadly gas that rushes across the landscape, suffocating everything in its path. The water turns to a churning brown chaos, and a dense, invisible cloud of pure carbon dioxide blankets the surrounding area. There's almost no warning and no escape. Basically, you're not just swimming in water. You're sitting on top of a ticking time bomb, and all it takes is one geological hiccup to ruin your day. Number 10. The exploding lake's silent cousin. If the idea of an exploding lake wasn't enough to make you reconsider your vacation plans, let's talk about a much quieter, but no less bizarre phenomenon. We're talking about the Great Attractor, which is basically the universe's most massive and passive bully. Your brain is used to a world where things move because they're pushed or pulled by something you can see or feel. Gravity, momentum, a toddler on a sugar rush. But the Great Attractor is different. It's a gravitational anomaly, a vast, diffuse region of space that's pulling our entire galaxy and thousands of others towards it at an incredible speed. Think of it like this. Your neighborhood is getting pulled into a black hole you can't see, and everyone's just going about their day. The Great Attractor is so massive that it exerts a pull on a region of space hundreds of millions of light years across. We're talking about a pull so strong that it's overriding the expansion of the universe itself in that local area. We can't actually see it because it's obscured by the dense cluster of stars in the Milky Way's galactic plane, a region known as the zone of avoidance. So, for all we know, we're all just passengers on a one-way trip to a place we can't see, pulled by a force we can only measure by its effects on our cosmic neighborhood. It's like being on a bus that's secretly heading to an unknown destination, and you don't even know who's driving. Number 9. The sky is falling, but sideways. You've heard of the wind, you've felt it. It's the air moving from one place to another. Simple, right? Well, what if the wind was also a perfectly straight, powerful river of air that could stretch across continents and had nothing to do with the weather you're experiencing? This is the jet stream, and it's basically the atmosphere's version of a superhighway. High up in the troposphere, these fast-flowing, narrow air currents act as invisible, swirling rivers that dictate everything from your flight time to the brutal cold snaps you complain about in winter. The jet stream forms at the boundary between two different air masses with different temperatures, and the bigger the temperature difference, the faster the jet stream gets. It's like a chaotic dance between hot and cold air, and we're all just living on the dance floor. But here's the weird part. These jet streams can sometimes get stuck. Instead of flowing in a wavy but generally west to east pattern, they can form what's called a blocking pattern. This is when the waves become so big they almost stall out, which can trap weather systems in one place for days or even weeks. So when your summer suddenly feels like it's never going to end, or a snowstorm just won't move on, it's not a conspiracy. It's just the atmosphere getting lazy and throwing a tantrum, and we're all just stuck in its bad mood. Number 8. Living on a farting planet. This is going to sound ridiculous, but bear with me. The Earth itself farts, not in the way a cow does, but in a much more geologic, terrifying way. We're talking about methane hydrate deposits, which are essentially frozen cages of methane gas trapped in ice crystals. They're found in vast quantities on the seafloor and in permafrost. The immense pressure and low temperatures down there keep everything stable, like a very cold, very dangerous can of gas. But here's the thing. As the planet warms, that permafrost and those deep ocean temperatures start to rise. The ice cages become unstable, melt, and suddenly a massive plume of methane gas is released. This isn't a slow leak. It's a sudden, powerful expulsion of gas from the seafloor, creating bubbles so big they can destabilize ships and look like boiling water in the middle of the ocean. It's a natural feedback loop from hell. The warming planet releases methane, which is a greenhouse gas far more potent than CO2, and that gas then traps more heat, causing more warming, which releases more methane. Basically, the planet is a slumbering beast, and we're poking it with a stick, and it's starting to burp up a storm. And that's not a metaphor. It's literally happening right now, all over the world, with giant plumes of methane bubbling up from the Arctic seabed. Number 7. The screaming sky. You've heard of the Aurora Borealis, the beautiful dancing lights in the night sky. Most people think of them as a silent, ethereal show. But what if the northern lights screamed at you? Believe it or not, people have reported hearing sounds during particularly intense aurora displays for centuries. For a long time, scientists dismissed these claims as folk tales or psychological tricks. How could sound travel all the way from space? But recent research has confirmed that yes, the aurora can indeed make a sound. It's not the same sound you'd hear from a speaker, or even a jet. It's more like a series of faint clicks, crackles, and hisses. The sound isn't coming directly from the aurora, because it's way too high up for us to hear it. Instead, the charged particles from the solar wind that cause the aurora create disturbances in the Earth's magnetic field. This, in turn, generates a secondary electric field near the ground. This weak electric field can then cause objects on the ground, like the branches of trees, a person's hair, or even a pine needle, to discharge electricity, creating the audible clicks and snaps we hear. It's a bizarre, counterintuitive physics glitch where the light show in the sky is literally making the things around you spark with electricity. It's like the universe is putting on a light show and a secret radio broadcast at the same time, and we just happen to have the right antenna. Number 6. Invisible walls of water. You've probably seen a wave and thought, oh, that's just water moving. But what if a wave was an impenetrable solid wall of water that could appear out of nowhere and swallow a ship whole? This is a freak phenomenon called a rogue wave, and for centuries, sailors dismissed it as a myth, a tall tale from a terrified captain. It defied all the rules of physics. A normal wave is about as tall as the waves around it. A rogue wave is a monster, sometimes more than double the height of the surrounding sea. Imagine a wave the size of a 7-story building rising up out of a calm sea. They are so dangerous that they've likely been responsible for the disappearance of countless ships without a trace. The terrifying part is that we still don't fully understand them. There are a few theories, like constructive interference, where multiple waves collide at just the right angle to create one massive wave. But the truth is, it's a physics glitch we can't reliably predict. So, out on the open sea, the laws of nature can just decide to take a day off and create a random liquid skyscraper just for you. Number 5. The hum of the earth. Your brain is constantly trying to make sense of the world, but what if the world was making a sound you couldn't quite place? This is the Earth hum, a persistent, low-frequency seismic vibration that's happening all the time, all over the planet. It's too low for humans to hear, but sensitive seismographs can pick it up. It's like the planet has its own quiet, steady pulse, a mysterious background noise that we can only feel in the data. Scientists aren't entirely sure what causes it, but the leading theory is that it's a mix of different things, like ocean waves interacting with the seafloor and atmospheric pressure changes. The ocean is basically sloshing around so much that it's making the entire planet vibrate. So, while you're walking around on solid ground, the Earth is technically humming a tune so deep and quiet you'll never hear it. It's a bit like living inside a giant, passive-aggressive cello that's just waiting to be heard. Number 4. Time-traveling water. Everyone knows that water flows downhill, right? It's a basic, fundamental law of physics you learn in elementary school. But what if a river could flow backward, not because of a storm or a tide, but because of a mysterious gravitational pull? This is something that happens in parts of the Amazon River basin. During certain times of the year, the moon's gravity creates a tidal bore, a powerful wave that travels upriver against the current. It's called the Pororoca, and it's basically the ocean telling the river, "I'm taking this back." This wall of water can travel for hundreds of miles, pushing the fresh water back and creating a bizarre, churning chaos that can last for hours. So in this one specific place on Earth, a river isn't just a one-way street. It's a two-way highway where the moon is the traffic cop, and it occasionally decides to send traffic in the opposite direction just for fun. Number 3. The Singing Sands. Picture a silent, endless desert. Now imagine it screaming at you. This is a real phenomenon called singing sands, and it's one of nature's weirdest sound effects. In certain deserts around the world, like the Sahara or the Gobi, the dunes can produce a variety of sounds, from a low hum to a loud roar that can be heard for miles. It's not just the wind whistling through the dunes, it's the sand itself. When the sand grains are a specific size, shape, and moisture content, and they slide down a slope in a sheet, the friction between them creates a unique vibration. It's like the sand is playing a song, or more accurately, throwing a geological tantrum. Some people describe it as the sound of a low-flying aircraft, a booming hum, or even a deep, resonating roar. It's a bizarre physics glitch where millions of tiny grains of rock decide for a moment to act like a single, massive instrument. Number 2. The fire tornado. You've seen a regular tornado, a powerful, swirling vortex of air that rips apart everything in its path. Now imagine that tornado is on fire. This isn't a special effect from a movie. It's a real and terrifying phenomenon called a fire whirl or fire tornado. They happen when intense heat from a fire, combined with strong winds, creates a vertical column of air. As this column of superheated air rises, it starts to spin, sucking in more oxygen and fuel from the ground and creating a rotating vortex of pure flame. These things are incredibly dangerous because they can rapidly spread a fire and throw burning embers for miles. They can range from just a few feet tall to towering structures that look like a fiery column holding up the sky. It's a bizarre physics glitch where two separate natural disasters, a fire and a tornado, decide to team up and create a new, much more terrifying one. Basically, nature saw a fire and thought, you know what this needs, a good twist. Number 1. The disappearing mountain. We all think of mountains as these solid, permanent structures that have been around forever. But what if a mountain could just vanish? Not through erosion over millions of years, but in a matter of days or weeks. This is the bizarre and deeply unsettling reality of certain ice volcanoes. It's a phenomenon that happens on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, but it has a weird cousin here on Earth, in places like Iceland and Antarctica. Here we're talking about subglacial volcanoes. These are volcanoes that are buried beneath a massive sheet of ice. As the volcano heats up, it melts the ice above it, creating a giant lake. But here's the dangerous part. All that water is trapped under an immense amount of pressure from the glacier above. When the volcano erupts, that pressure is released. The water explodes out in a massive flood called a Jökulhlaup, which can carry icebergs the size of houses and completely reshape the landscape. So one day you have a seemingly solid mountain covered in ice, and a week later it's gone, replaced by a massive lake and a river of mud and debris. It's like the Earth is a magical beast that can just delete its own landscapes whenever it feels like it. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.